What's up, everybody? My name's Trey. This is Denzel. Welcome back to Better Days Sports. And in this episode of the podcast, we'll be talking about our reactions to the Rockets versus the Warriors NBA playoffs first round matchup, because we got some strong opinions about this. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video. And leave a comment in the comment section down below of who you think is going to win this series, as Game 7 is tonight. But Denzel, go ahead and take us away. What are your feelings on this matchup, my boy?
This is a very difficult matchup. Why is it so difficult? Because you have a team that, in the Rockets, that is, you just don't know what they're going to do, who is going to show up at this point. You know, it changes. It's changed every game. Some games it looks like they've laid down, and then later on in the series, out of nowhere, finally Fred VanVleet has a I want to make sure I'm saying it right. Resurgence. I think that's how you say it. Resurgence of, oh, I'm a former All-Star. I'm a former NBA champion. Oh, I can actually play basketball at a high level. And I don't look as old as I thought I was. So that's been, their saving grace. He's finally stepped it up big time there and been able to hit big shots. And then also I think, what's the kid name? Is it Thompson?
Yeah,
Thompson, the Thompson twin out there. He's finally looked like who people say he is, and not that he hasn't before, but I just think that he's been able to score at a higher clip and more optimized for the team's sake, right? So it's really been those two guys to really step up in a later games in this first round. Jalen Green. Yeah, next topic. But yeah, the Rockets, they done what they needed to do when they started to see that the Warriors were unfolding a little bit, and the Warriors have to get back to, their identity, like I always talk about, and who they are as a team on both ends of the court. And then also, I think that they really, really, really need a lot for their bench every single game, because I think Steph is tired, believe it or not, because it seems like it's his first time in his career to where those shots aren't falling as easy, and he's not being able to score as easy at a high efficiency as he has in the past. So who's going to win tonight's game? Tough call, but if I have to go with the experience, of course I'm going Warriors. They got Jimmy B still. If I have to go with just randomness, maybe they don't play as well as, they hope, the Warriors, that is, and Steph just has an off-shoot night and the supporting cast can't get buckets. The Rockets get an easy win. It's a blowout almost. So it just really depends, man. It's too hard to call right now. It's been very back and forth. So if I had to bet, if I was a betting man, I'm really not, I would just bet on Steph. It's hard to say, go against Steph in Game 7, even though he's older, in the twilight of his career now. What are your thoughts?
This matchup, for me, I feel like this series should have been over at Game 5, and somehow we're going on Game 7. It seems like the Rockets, and we've talked about this, the Rockets have, in my opinion, the worst type of star that you can have in the league in Jalen Green, which
terrible.
is a streaky volume shooter. Like, if you're supposed to be our number one option outside of Şengün, then you have to be, at some point in time, able to generate points without also having to put up 20-plus shots a night. So whether that be scoring in the paint, getting to the foul line, Jalen Green just seems like he falls in love with the three-point shot regardless if he's hitting or not. He comes down, will miss 4 in a row, and be like, you know what, I'm going to get hot on this one. Like, no, please just take it in the paint, get to the foul line, just see some buckets go in. And the only reason I feel like this series is even close now is, as you said, Fred VanVleet was like, oh yeah, I have won a championship, and I do remember how to shoot. So without Fred VanVleet, and really the addition to Steven Adams getting a lot more minutes than he's been getting all year, the Warriors should have closed this, like I said, Game 5. Now, one issue that I am seeing not only with the Warriors, but I saw with the Lakers. You need a competent big that's going to get rebounds, that's going to do dirty work, and it's going to challenge people at the basket. The Rockets have that in Steven Adams. The Warriors have a very undersized player doing that in Draymond Green, which it just doesn't seem to be getting the job done. So I think one thing that we'll see kind of going forward too, not really based on this series specifically, is that you have to have a 6'11", 7-foot center who's not afraid to throw his weight around and just win the offensive rebounding total, defensive rebounding totals, because those lead to second chance points that your stars need, specifically on the Warriors, when you're really living and dying by this three-point line. If Buddy Hield, if Pods, if Moody, if Steph are not hitting shots, this team struggles to score 100 points day in and day out. So, like I said, you're not a betting man. I might be. And I might have put some money on the Warriors winning this series, because I just do not feel like Jalen Green's going to come out here and have a good game, or if he does, he's going to shoot the ball 30 times, and that's just going to lead to a lot of fast break opportunities for the Warriors specifically. So when it comes to that, though, who are the X factors for you in this game? Are you saying, hey, Jalen Green just has to be better for the Rockets, or what are you thinking?
Don't get me started on Jalen Green. I hype this man up just to be let down, like body on this microphone. But him, I seen the light with him back in the summer league, several years ago. He hasn't been an all-star yet. He hasn't improved his efficiency.
Didn't you call this
Does
man a
he
young
have
Kobe
the
at one point in time?
prototypical body, young Kobe, young T-Mac, and he has a similar type of game? Yes, he's capable to get to the rim. Does he get to the rim at our clip? No. Does he put pressure on the defense? No. So if you're going to be a volume guy, you have to really, really put pressure on the defense and make people fear you. Nobody fears you, bro, at all. It's just like, let him shoot. Let him do whatever he wants to do, because he's going to check himself out. He's just not it. He's a role player. He does nothing. He gives you nothing. There's no way somebody drafted that high who has as much caliber and much skill as he has should be below 50. That's what I think about Jalen Green's game at this point. It's just into you, Jalen Green. I really am, because you really had me fooled. As you can, man, get out of here with that. They want to know about Jalen Green's game and how much of. Let me calm down. You got it.
Okay, go ahead, cook, my boy. So, it's only interesting because you literally called him young Kobe. I thought he was more of a J.R. Smith.
That's a good one.
But
yeah, that's a good one.
When he is hot, I think we can both agree he is one of
Facts.
the most fun players to watch when he's hitting his shot. The problem is when he's not hitting his shot, it doesn't seem like he finds a way to get comfortable or even really seems usable in the game. I feel very similarly about him that I feel with Pods. When Pods on the Warriors is not hitting a shot, he's more or less just a body on the floor. You're supposed to be a shooter. You're supposed to be stretching the floor. You're supposed to be putting up points. And if you're not doing that, why exactly are you out here when we can put somebody who's taller, who's lengthier, who plays better defense, who does the other things that your skill set doesn't necessarily, contribute to? So him and Pods feel like they're the same person. Now, who do you think pulls this out? You said if you were a betting man, you're going with the Warriors?
If I was a betting man, I'd go with the Warriors. We already know what Steph does in big games, and this is a big game. Excuse me, I'm so ready to talk trash. The Rockets don't have one big game. Step big games and big moments, right? That's what he does. When I run down this Rockets roster, Thompson, get out of here. You're too young. Don't get me wrong. You do what you do, but forget about it. All right, next up, we got Jalen Green. I'd rather have a trash can out there. Next up, we got Fred VanVleet. He might give you 20, 25.
Or he might give you 7 points on 12 shots.
No, that's the thing about it. Fred VanVleet finally woke up. I see that fire in his eyes again. I'll give him 20, 25. Sengun is decent too. He's gonna give you about 17 to 20 points. Cool. Dylan Brooks, you've never looked to him for scoring. He's just gonna be all right. Jabari Smith, another perpetrating fraud. I thought this guy was going to come in and be just like a Swiss Army knife, do it all type of guy. You know, something like a young Aldridge maybe, or David West, you know, in a different body frame. He ain't none of that. Tari Eason, well, there's nothing much to say about you. Jeff Green, brother, you might as well come off the bench. Cam Whitmore, you might as well come off the bench. Steven Adams, you know, he's kind of like a Draymond. You don't expect him to score a lot. He's going to do what he does. The rest of the guys, they getting DNP coaches' decisions. Get out of here. Like, no, the Warriors got this. Come on now. It's the Rockets. The Rockets were fraud. They sold me, man. They really had me sold as, oh, man, they really winning now. They doing good things out there in Houston. Yeah. Okay. Calm down. They don't have that game-changing player. Don't get me wrong. I love Sengun. Love him. But they don't have that game-changing player. It's simple as that, man. So, the Warriors have two. Jimmy's good, you feel me? And Curry, we already know what he does. You know what I mean? You remember what happened in the Olympics. Come on now.
All right, we say that now. Basically, what's going to happen is Jalen Green's going to have 30 points next game, and he's going to absolutely show out. Everything he puts up in the air is going to be nice, and the Rockets are going to go ahead and win this game. But that's a big if. So I got the Warriors at 7-2. I agree with you. I think the Warriors just have more. I think better coaching. They have 2 or 3 actually go-to players, but it really just depends on who's going to knock down a shot. You know your stars are. Şengün's going to play good. Curry's going to hit a couple. You know, Butler's going to be able to score and be efficient at it, but can your role players knock down threes? Because if they can't, you're going to have to dig into the bench. And one thing that I really liked about Steve Kerr, when he knew the game was getting out of hand, he put in the bench to see what he had on there for specifically Game 7. So a lot of players got some playing time that are normally, you know, not even in the rotation. Kuminga got some minutes. Even seeing Kevin Knox get some minutes and actually play relatively decently. So it's going to be interesting to see what that rotation kind of looks like. Is he going to play more, you know, bigs? He's going to play more centers to kind of combat Steven Adams. So I'm ready to see this Game 7, but I do agree with you. I think the Warriors got this in 7. But we really appreciate y'all stopping by for this episode of the podcast. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video. And leave a comment in the comment section down below. How you feel about these so-called fraud Rockets? You know, Denzel felt some type of way about this. I mean, not gonna lie, he did say that Jalen Green was a young Kobe, and I am going to clip that up as many ways as I can and post that as many times as I can. So I apologize for you about that. But just like that, we will see you in the next one. Peace.